So Unique has shown us that he's the real deal. He knows how to make chess moves and he's somewhat bamboozled Raquel and hit her organizations in more ways than one. But his conversation in episode 6 with Lulu is definitely one to keep in the back of our minds because he was smart with the choice of his words. Last week it was all about key dialogues in episode 6 and Unique seems like he's about to play his next chess move against Raquel. But whether he can pull this off is another question. So in this video we're going to look at how Unique got the better of Raquel and what he plans on doing next to stay 3 moves ahead of her. So we're looking at all the clues and foreshadows and what's to come next for Unique. But of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. And just before I do start, hopefully you guys are keeping safe because I know a lot of my listeners are from New York and with the recent floods, hopefully you're all inside and hopefully you're all keeping safe and well. But let's talk all things Unique and the moves that he made to really bamboozle Raquel and leave her without a connect, leaving her running low on product and leaving her with several problems. But we have to take it back even further during episode 3. And you could argue that Raquel created her own problems. She hit Unique back after he took most of her corners after the death of Buck 20. She used Smurf to get information on his re-up and fed the information to Howard. And all this did was create a short-term fix, but a long-term problem for Raquel. She had the upper hand for a very short period of time until the moment Unique hit her stash house in episode 4. And we were all wondering whether this was the right move from Unique because this seemed to have made Raquel make her business a lot more bulletproof, using Symphony's teachings and moving her business to the high rises so they were on higher grounds, away from the streets, so she can see Unique and the police coming from a mile away, and if they do ever get into trouble or Unique tries to hit them again, they're just able to throw their shit down the chute to the apartment below, which also belongs to her. And she also used Scrappy and planted him right in the middle of Unique's organization, so from her perspective, she thought she was making all the right moves to be 3 moves ahead of Unique. She thought she made her business bulletproof, and she thought she had eyes and ears inside of Unique's organization. But while she was making her moves, Unique was making his moves, and this came to fruition throughout episode 6, and he showed us he's someone who should never have been underestimated because he's someone that is capable of making chess moves. After he hit the stash house, taking half of Raquel's supply, he used that to go to Dean and pay 20% premium on both his and her supplies if Dean stopped doing business with her, which he did. He also told her that he couldn't trust her because of the move that she made behind his back with Smurf and given Unique's re-up location to Detective Howard. And now she's left without a connect, she's short on product, and her people are going to be off the corners soon because they'll have nothing to sell sooner or later, and all of these customers are going to end up going to Unique's crew because they'll need their drug fix one way or another. So whether they buy their product from Raquel's corner boys or Unique's corner boys, it makes no difference to the customers. And on top of all of this, she's lost her eyes and ears inside of Unique's organization when Unique drops Scrappy's body on Raquel's doorstep. And this takes me back to how Marvin said they should never have given up those corners in the first place. I do think he was right, but the problem is Raquel just dismisses his ideas and thoughts without even thinking about them, because they've come from Marvin. And in episode 6 we had Marvin ranting to the inspector while he was chilling inside the walls. He said that he knows he ain't perfect, he does make mistakes, and he actually acknowledges that he does make mistakes. But Raquel also makes mistakes, just like we went through with what she did with Smurf, which ultimately was one of the reasons why she no longer has a connect, and a move that she made with Scrappy also backfired. But she will never get shit like Marvin does. And I do feel Marvin is definitely undervalued by Lulu and Raquel, and he will fuck up from time to time, there is no doubt about that, but we can't underestimate his worth to the family, and I do think we'll see his worth a lot more throughout next season, especially when he goes through his anger management lessons. But those are Raquel and Unique's moves so far, and Raquel now needs to think fast. She's asked Julia at the bodega to introduce her to her cousin, something I'm sure we'll see towards the end of the season. But now that Unique has got the better of Raquel, the question is, what is Unique's next move going to be? And this is where we come to the key dialogue in episode 6 between Unique and Lulu, because this is what we really have to pay attention to, and it's something that's going to come back over the next episode or two, because Unique started planting a seed or two in the back of Lulu's mind. He said that Rack is lucky to have a brother like you, and he's reasonable, and she needs that reason in her life right now. She needs that level-headedness that you bring to the table, and this conversation shows that Unique would rather be dealing with Lulu than Raquel. And some of you like the Snowfall reference in my video where I said we could see a similar situation play out like Mel in Snowfall and Nicole in Raising Kanan with her potentially becoming a drug addict or overdosing. And I'm going to use another reference with what Manboy said, so just a spoiler warning for Snowfall if you haven't caught up, or maybe just fast forward the next 20 seconds. But Manboy told Franklin that Jerome and Leon are going to turn on Franklin just before Franklin killed him, and this prophecy may well come true, but he was planting the seed into their minds, calling Jerome his nephew's bitch and taunting Leon, and that's what Unique was doing with Lulu, planting a seed into his mind, which I can definitely see him following up on. So this conversation between him and Lulu is something we're probably going to see again, even if the favor for a favor is nullified or not. It won't stop Unique from approaching Lulu, and he's going to try and get into Lulu's head. I do think they've foreshadowed for this to come between Unique and Lou, where Unique will try and use him against Raquel, something that Manboy planted in the mind of Franklin with Leon and Jerome eventually turning on him, and I can see Unique trying to do something similar. Raquel tried to plant Scrappy into Unique's organization, and now Unique is going to hit back and try and hit Raquel's weak spots. And we've already seen Unique using one of Raquel's own, crown, which is Kanan, because as Detective Howard said, sometimes to get to the queen, you have to go through the prince, and he knows she has this bond and relationship with Kanan that he just doesn't have with his son. We've already seen him exploit this with the use of Davina, and with Lulu showing his cards to Unique with how he doesn't want trouble at the showcase, Unique is going to sense this as another opportunity, and this is something that will definitely come back. So I do think this is a storyline between Unique and Lulu, which is definitely not finished, and they may well have just foreshadowed something to come between the two again. So their conversation in episode 6 is definitely something to keep in the back of our minds as we go into episode 7. But what will Raquel now do now that Unique has played his move by cutting her off from a connect and dropping Scrappy out her front door? Raquel is someone that will definitely protect her most loyal soldiers, so we'll see her trying to get revenge for Scrappy for sure. She knows that this one was on her. She made the call to put Scrappy inside of Unique's organization, and this is why we're going to see Lou getting revenge for what they did to Scrappy, because he's the guy to get shit done and get shit done right. Raquel tasked him to kill D-Wiz in episode 2, and will probably have sent him on this mission as well by the looks of the trailer, and I do trust Lulu to get the job done. But coming back to Lulu and Unique and this whole situation with Scrappy infiltrating Unique's organization, there were a few comments to suggest that Lulu was the one who gave up Scrappy to Unique, and I don't think this is true. I don't think Lulu would ever go against his family. I mean, you could never say never because we've seen family turn on each other before, but I definitely don't think he gave up Scrappy in this situation. I think it was just a move from Raquel where Unique saw straight through it and knew that Scrappy was sent by Raquel, so I definitely don't think Lou had anything to do with what happened to Scrappy. I would be very surprised and shocked if he did. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out between Unique, Raquel and Lulu now, because Unique definitely has the upper hand at this moment in time. He hit Raquel when she thought she was making a business bulletproof, he left her without a connect, and now he's playing a game with one of her siblings, which is Lulu, and with Lou having one eye away from the game, this is where I feel Unique can really take advantage of the situation with him, especially because he would rather deal with Lulu considering he's a lot more reasonable compared to Raquel. So this situation is definitely one to keep an eye on over the next episode or two, but I do hope Lulu is someone who stays loyal to the Thomases, and I do think he will. Eventually we probably will see some family members turn on each other like we've seen before in Power and Power Book 2 Ghost as well, but I think it's too soon for this to happen, and definitely not with Lou snitching on Scrappy. There is no way he would hang him out to dry like that. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Did Raquel make the right moves, or was it just short-term fixes which caused long-term problems for her? And now that Unique has cut off Dina's Rax Connect, could he make his next move and try and get into Lulu's head, which we've seen them foreshadow with him planting the seed in his head in episode 6? Drop me all your thoughts and comments on the conversation between Lulu and Unique, and whether or not we could see this play a role going forward in Unique's next move. Tomorrow I'm going to be back with my preview and predictions video breaking down the synopsis for episode 7 as usual, so if you haven't done so already then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.